Life looked like a framed masterpiece when I married Emily. Every painted second felt perfect, until brushstrokes smeared under heavy rain. I wasn't prepared to become a fool inside my own home, my own sanctuary. Our days started with laughter, ended with kisses, filled between with longing stares, shared glances during lazy Sundays, whispered promises under dimmed lamps. She smelled like lavender, moved like silk. I adored every detail. Crooked smiles, soft snorts after jokes, creases appearing around bright eyes when she chuckled. I thought devotion was a fortress. I thought wrong. Everything crumbled that afternoon. It began innocently with a call from my mother. Her voice trembled slightly, unusual for her calm, composed nature. "Jack, honey. I need help moving some furniture," she said awkwardly. "Could you swing by soon?" Still, I grabbed my jacket, keys jingling in trembling fingers, heart oddly heavy, like some part of me knew. Driving through town, noticing how autumn set trees ablaze, my mind wandered to Emily. We had argued recently, small things. Forgotten dinners, missed dates, unanswered texts. I brushed it off, believing marriage had seasons, just like nature. I reached my mother's house. Familiar white siding, blue shutters, flower beds tidy as always. Everything looked normal, ordinary. Inside, nothing would ever be ordinary again. Pushing open the door, stepping into the cozy living room, I froze. There she was, Emily, straddling my best friend's lap. Ryan, laughing, arms draped around his neck, fingers threading through his hair. Their bodies pressed so closely, it felt criminal. Her cheeks flushed crimson. His hands. God, his hands rested dangerously low on her hip. Time didn't just stop, it shattered into a million screaming pieces. My voice cracked out before my brain approved it. "What the hell is this?" Both heads snapped toward me. Emily's smile collapsed into horror. Ryan's arms jerked away as if burned. Before either could utter a syllable, my mother stumbled from the kitchen, pale, hands fluttering uselessly. "Jack, it's not what you think." Blood roared in my ears. I couldn't hear anything beyond my own racing heart. "What, exactly, do you think I'm seeing, Mom?" My tone wasn't my own. It belonged to a stranger who suddenly lived inside my chest. Emily scrambled off Ryan's lap, adjusting her blouse, eyes darting around like a cornered animal. Ryan, the man who toasted my wedding, who hugged me tighter than anyone that day, mumbled something inaudible. The room quivered with silence, thick enough to drown in. My hands clenched, unclenched, trembling with a rage I barely recognized. Every fiber of my being screamed to throw something, smash Ryan's smug face, but my legs locked into place, unwilling to move. Emily stumbled forward, reaching for me like I was a lifeline. "Jack, please, let me explain." I stepped backward instinctively, disgust flooding my veins. "Explain what, exactly?" My voice cracked like a whip across her face. Ryan remained rooted to the couch, shame dripping from every inch of him. He wouldn't meet my eyes, wouldn't say a damn word. My mother, still wringing her hands by the doorframe, pleaded weakly, "Sweetheart, it isn't, you don't understand." Something inside me snapped. "Then make me understand." Emily choked on a sob. Tears glazed her cheeks, mascara bleeding trails down flawless skin. She looked beautiful even while crying, damn her. "I was lonely," she blurted out. "You're always working, always away, buried in projects, deadlines. I tried to talk to you, Jack. You never listened." My breath punched out of me, ragged and hollow. "So you decided to fuck my best friend?" The word sliced through the air, sharp, deadly. Ryan flinched. Emily covered her mouth in horror, as if hearing it aloud made her realize just how filthy everything truly was. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she whimpered, voice barely above a whisper. I laughed, hollow and humorless. "No one means for betrayal to happen. It still does." My mother finally approached, putting a tentative hand on my arm. Her touch burned. "They weren't supposed to be here together," she said urgently. I asked Ryan to help me move the sofa. Emily came by, unexpected. They didn't plan this, Jack. I shook my head, not trusting the ground beneath my feet anymore. You expect me to believe this just happened? Just some happy accident? Neither of them answered. My gaze bore into Ryan, the man who shared beers with me after long shifts, who celebrated my promotions, who promised to be the godfather to my unborn children someday. Did it mean anything, Ryan? Or was it just convenient? His throat bobbed as he swallowed hard. When he finally spoke, the words shattered what little hope remained. I love her. 3 words. Simple. Catastrophic. Emily burst into tears anew, collapsing onto the couch where moments ago she had been nestled so intimately against him. I staggered backward, hitting the wall. My body slid down until I sat on the floor, dazed, numb. Love. Not lust. Love. Suddenly, everything made a sick kind of sense. The late nights at her study group, the sudden disinterest in our plans, the constant texting when she thought I wasn't watching. How long had I been the idiot wearing a blindfold? I pressed my palms into my eyes, desperate to erase the scene unfolding before me. My mother's voice broke through the fog. Jack, you can't stay here. Please, let's get some air. Come with me. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Emily crawled toward me on her knees, her sobs filling every crevice of the room. I didn't want to hurt you, she cried. It started with one kiss, it wasn't supposed to go further. I swear, Jack. I turned my head, unwilling to witness the woman I married reduced to this desperate, broken thing. Memories assaulted me. Our wedding dance under fairy lights, honeymoon sunsets, late-night talks about baby names, growing old together. Lies. All of it. Why him? I whispered. She bit her lip, hesitating. Ryan spoke first. Because I was there. Because you weren't. Every syllable dug claws into my skin. Rage surged again, boiling under my ribs. So it's my fault you two betrayed me? Emily shook her head violently. No. I'm just saying, you were distant. We didn't talk anymore. I tried, Jack. I missed you. I almost laughed. Missed me? I was standing right here, and she still missed me. Get out, I croaked finally. Emily froze. Ryan finally stood, awkward and guilty. Both of you, I said louder. Out of my sight. Now. Neither argued. Ryan grabbed his jacket. Emily hesitated, face crumpling in agony, then stumbled after him. The door clicked shut behind them, leaving a vacuum of silence. I sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. Eventually, my mother crouched down beside me, smoothing my hair like she used to when nightmares woke me as a boy. I'm so sorry, honey, she whispered. I wanted to scream, to punch holes in every wall. Instead, I just whispered back. I don't even know who I am anymore. Days blurred into meaningless shapes after that afternoon. I drifted through existence like a ghost wearing my skin, mechanically eating, sleeping, pretending. Every familiar place, our kitchen, our bedroom, even my car, reeked of memories now tainted, poisoned. Emily sent messages, left voicemails, wrote letters. I deleted, ignored, burned every bridge she tried to rebuild. Ryan disappeared too. Coward. The world shrank until my life consisted of work and an empty apartment. Until Hannah. I met her at the Rusty Anchor, a dim bar nestled between 2 crumbling bookstores on the bad side of town. A place filled with shadows and broken promises, exactly where I belonged. That night, rain dripped from my jacket as I slid onto a cracked leather stool. Ordered whiskey neat. Sat alone, stewing in resentment, aching. She noticed me first. I felt her stare before I even turned. Honey blonde hair tumbled down bare shoulders. Emerald dress clung to curves like second skin. Smoky eyes held a danger I recognized instantly, someone else carrying invisible scars. She approached without hesitation, high heels clicking softly against warped floorboards. Rough night? She purred, sliding onto the stool beside mine. I grunted, swirling amber liquid around my glass. She laughed, low, husky, inviting. I'm Hannah, she offered, resting her chin on a delicate hand. Jack, I mumbled, feeling stupid even saying my own name aloud. Her lips curled into a smirk. You look like you could use some company. Maybe I should have said no. Maybe I should have clung to the last shreds of dignity still clinging to my broken heart. Instead, I ordered 2 more whiskeys. Hours disappeared under neon lights and muttered confessions. We spoke little, just enough. She didn't ask about my ringless finger. I didn't ask about the sadness tucked behind her laughter. We understood each other without words. By midnight, her hand rested on my thigh, nails scraping lightly, teasing. I didn't stop her. By 1 a.m., we stumbled out into the misty street, hands greedy, breaths ragged. Her apartment was a 5-minute walk. Small, messy, smelled like vanilla and cigarette. The door barely shut before I slammed her against it, mouths crashing together with a ferocity I didn't know I had inside me. Kissing her wasn't gentle. It wasn't sweet. It was survival, clawing, desperate, furious. Clothes tore away piece by piece, leaving trails across the living room floor. Her skin burned against mine, every inch a rebellion against the loneliness that had been strangling me. When we finally collapsed onto her bed, gasping, tangled, everything inside me screamed, "This isn't right." I silenced it by pulling her closer, burying myself in her warmth, pretending for one stupid, blissful night that betrayal didn't exist. Lust devoured guilt completely. Morning light slithered through broken blinds. I woke tangled in unfamiliar sheets, Hannah's body pressed against mine, arm draped lazily across my chest. For a few seconds I didn't move, savoring the rare peace. No memories. No betrayal. Just heat, skin, breath. Eventually, reality dripped back, cold and sour. I slid out from under her arm carefully, grabbing my jeans from the floor. She stirred slightly but didn't wake. I stared at her sleeping face, beautiful, reckless, dangerous, and knew this wasn't love. It wasn't healing. It was survival. Leaving her apartment, the heavy morning smog slapped me in the face. I didn't know where to go, didn't want to go home. My phone buzzed relentlessly in my pocket. I yanked it out. Emily. Again. I almost threw the phone into traffic. Instead, I answered, if only to end the torture. Her voice cracked immediately. Jack, please. I need to see you. I miss you. Miss me. Those 2 words again. You miss the idea of me, I spat bitterly. Not me. No, that's not true. I made a mistake, but, Jack, please, we had a life. We can fix this. I stood motionless on the sidewalk, cold concrete beneath my sneakers, heart hardened into stone. We can't fix something you set on fire, I said coldly. Goodbye, Emily. I ended the call without waiting for her sobs. It should have felt victorious. Instead, it hollowed me even more. That night, I didn't go home. I found myself back at the Rusty Anchor, back at that cracked leather stool, back to Hannah. She was already there, sipping something dark, eyes lighting up when she saw me. No questions. No judgments. Just a smile that promised escape. We left together again without speaking. This time, slower. This time, savoring. Her touch was different now, lingering, teasing, addictive. When her mouth found mine, I let her drown me completely, sinking into the kind of oblivion only strangers can offer each other. Afterward, lying beside her, cigarette smoke curling toward the ceiling, Hannah whispered against my ear. You're not the only one running, Jack. I didn't ask her story. She didn't ask mine. Maybe that's why it worked. Maybe that's why I kept going back. Night after night. Filling the void with meaningless pleasure, empty kisses, desperate moans. Pretending the pieces of my shattered heart weren't still bleeding inside me. Weeks passed this way. Until one evening, everything shifted again. Walking into the Rusty Anchor, expecting the usual haze, I stopped dead. Emily was there. Sitting at the bar, twisting a glass between nervous fingers. She looked different, smaller, thinner, haunted. Our eyes met across the room. The world tilted dangerously. She rose, approaching cautiously, like I might shatter if she got too close. Jack, she whispered. I hated how my chest tightened hearing my name from her lips. What are you doing here? I rasped. I needed to see you, she said simply, voice shaking. I wanted to yell, to curse, to remind her she didn't deserve to see me anymore. Instead, I stayed silent. I miss you, she whispered again, tears sparkling. Before I could reply, warm fingers slid into mine from behind. Hannah. Her body pressed against my back, possessive, claiming. Emily's face crumbled instantly. Her gaze darted between us, understanding everything. Without a word, she turned and fled into the rainy night. Hannah leaned into me, whispering, Come home, Jack. Home. What a dangerous word. I let her lead me away. Not because it was right. Because it was easier than facing what still twisted inside me. Hannah's apartment felt different that night. Colder, somehow. Walls closed in tighter. Shadows stretched longer. Even her kisses tasted more bitter, desperate. I sat on the edge of her messy bed, head cradled in my hands, heart waging a war no bullet could end. She wrapped herself around me, lips tracing my neck, whispering promises I knew she couldn't keep. I'm yours, Jack, she breathed against my ear. Forget her. Forget her. As if it was that simple. I pulled away gently, standing. Hannah frowned, confused. Her fingers curled into fists at her sides. What's wrong? Everything. Nothing. I stared at her. This beautiful, broken woman who had patched my wounds with bandages made of skin and heat. She didn't deserve the mess tangled inside me. I can't keep pretending, I said quietly. Her face crumbled just slightly, like a paper doll caught in the rain. You're still in love with her, she whispered, eyes darkening. No, I said firmly. I'm still bleeding because of her. There's a difference. Silence expanded between us. Finally, she nodded, slow and sad, like she'd known it all along. I kissed her forehead softly, not out of lust, not out of need, but gratitude. Then I walked out, leaving behind the only thing that had made numbness bearable. Rain battered my windshield as I drove aimlessly through the empty street. Headlights blurred into long, smudged streaks. Street signs twisted into unfamiliar shape. I didn't know where I was going, until my car turned onto a familiar road, completely on its own. Emily's house loomed ahead, lights glowing faintly behind drawn curtains. I parked without thinking. For a long moment I sat there gripping the steering wheel, knuckles white, heart slamming against my ribs like a prisoner desperate for escape. Finally, I forced myself out into the downpour. Every step toward her door felt heavier than the last. I raised my fist to knock, but the door swung open before I touched it. Emily stood there, wrapped in a thin robe, hair tangled, eyes swollen from crying. She didn't look like the goddess who once lit up my world. She looked real, fragile, human. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then she stepped aside, silently inviting me in. I hesitated only a moment before crossing the threshold. The air inside smelled of cinnamon and sadness. I stood dripping onto the hardwood floor while she stared at me, heartache radiating off her like heat. Finally, she whispered, "Why are you here?" Good question. Why was I here? To yell? To cry? To beg? No. I came to bury the ghost of us. I need answers, I said quietly. Emily's shoulders sagged. She nodded, moving toward the couch like a sleepwalker. I followed. We sat, a full foot apart, oceans of pain crashing silently between us. I didn't plan to fall for him, she started, voice trembling. It just happened. One night, we were drinking after your promotion party. You went to bed early. Ryan stayed, we talked for hours. I cried about missing you. He listened. She paused, twisting her hands together until her knuckles turned white. We kissed. Just once. At first. I stared at the floor, blinking rapidly. I thought it was a mistake, she continued. I swore it wouldn't happen again. But every fight we had, every late night you worked, it got harder to resist. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I felt invisible, Jack. And Ryan, he made me feel wanted. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. You had everything, I said. Love, loyalty, a future. You threw it away for attention. Emily flinched. You think I don't regret it every single day, she cried. You think this is what I wanted? I don't know what you wanted, I snapped. And honestly, I don't care anymore. Silence swallowed us again. Lightning flashed outside, casting eerie shadows across the living room. Finally, she spoke, voice barely audible. Do you still love me? The question hung between us, heavier than anything either of us could lift. I thought about Hannah's touch. I thought about Ryan's betrayal. I thought about the way Emily used to laugh, the way she used to kiss me like nothing else existed. And I realized the truth. I love who you used to be, I said softly. Not who you became. Her face crumpled, and a broken sob escaped her lips. I stood, heart hammering against my ribs. I'm leaving, I said. For good. Emily nodded through her tears, mouthing something I couldn't hear. Maybe it was I'm sorry. Maybe it was goodbye. It didn't matter anymore. I walked out, letting the door close behind me with a soft, final click. No slamming. No screaming. Just closure. Outside, rain still poured, but it felt different now, cleansing instead of suffocating. I stood there for a long time, letting the storm wash over me, letting it strip away everything I didn't need anymore. Anger, resentment, grief. Somewhere deep inside, a small, stubborn light flickered back to life. Hope. Not for Emily. Not even for Hannah. Hope for myself. Maybe love wasn't dead. Maybe trust wasn't impossible. Maybe healing wasn't a myth after all. I just had to find it somewhere else. Somewhere new. Somewhere honest. And for the first time in months, as I walked back toward my car, soaked but somehow lighter, I realized. I wasn't broken anymore. I was free.